Nelson Mandela was a remarkable leader and advocate for justice, freedom, and equality. His life was marked by resilience, determination, and an unwavering commitment to his ideals. Throughout his life, Mandela shared numerous motivational quotes that continue to inspire people around the world. In this script, we will explore some of his most iconic quotes, providing a deeper understanding of the context and significance of each. Quote 1. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Mandela's life exemplified this quote. He faced extreme adversity during his long imprisonment and the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. Despite the fear and uncertainty, he remained resolute in his pursuit of justice and equality. Mandela's courage came from his unwavering belief in the righteousness of his cause and his commitment to overcoming fear to achieve his goals. This quote teaches us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it, a lesson applicable to various aspects of our lives. Quote 2. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Mandela recognized the transformative power of education. He understood that by equipping people with knowledge and skills, they could empower themselves and their communities to bring about positive change. This quote emphasizes the importance of investing in education as a means to address inequality and improve the world. Mandela's advocacy for education reminds us that knowledge is a tool for empowerment and a catalyst for progress. Quote 3. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. Mandela's vision of freedom extended beyond personal liberation. He believed that true freedom was not just about breaking one's own chains, but also about ensuring that others enjoyed the same freedom. This quote underscores the idea that freedom is interlinked with responsibility and a commitment to justice. It serves as a reminder that our actions should promote the freedom and well-being of all, not just ourselves. Quote 4. It always seems impossible until it's done. This quote encapsulates Mandela's unwavering determination and optimism. Throughout his life, he faced seemingly insurmountable challenges, including apartheid and his long imprisonment. Yet, he never gave up on the belief that change was possible. This quote encourages us to persevere in the face of daunting obstacles and reminds us that with determination and effort, the seemingly impossible can become achievable. Quote 5. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. Mandela's experience of 27 years in prison could have fueled bitterness and hatred. However, he chose a path of reconciliation and forgiveness. This quote serves as a powerful reminder that holding on to resentment only harms oneself. Mandela's choice to forgive and seek reconciliation with his oppressors demonstrates the transformative power of forgiveness and the importance of letting go of negative emotions for personal healing and societal progress. Quote 6. I am fundamentally an optimist. Whether that comes from nature or nurture, I cannot say. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward. Mandela's optimism was a driving force in his struggle for justice and equality. He believed in the possibility of positive change, even in the darkest of times. This quote encourages us to maintain a hopeful outlook and continue moving forward even when faced with adversity. It reflects Mandela's resilience and his belief in the capacity of individuals and societies to evolve for the better. Quote 7. No one is born hating another person because of the color of their skin, or their background, or their religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. This quote speaks to Mandela's commitment to combating racism and discrimination. He believed that hatred and prejudice were learned behaviors and that love and tolerance were inherent to human nature. Mandela's message is a call for education, understanding, and empathy as a means to overcome prejudice and build a more inclusive and harmonious world. Quote 8. I dream of an Africa which is in peace with itself. Mandela's vision for Africa was one of unity and harmony. He understood the continent's potential for greatness, but also recognized the conflicts that plagued it. This quote reflects his hope for a peaceful and prosperous Africa, free from the divisions and strife that had marred its history. It serves as a reminder of the importance of regional and continental cooperation to achieve peace and development. Quote 9. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. Mandela's leadership was characterized by his intellect and his compassion. He believed that effective leadership required both intelligence and empathy. This quote emphasizes the synergy between a strong mind and a compassionate heart in making positive change in the world. It encourages leaders to balance rational decision-making with a deep understanding of the human condition. Quote 10. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. Mandela's life was dedicated to the struggle for human rights. This quote underscores the fundamental nature of these rights and the inhumanity of denying them to any individual or group. It serves as a reminder that respecting human rights is not a matter of choice, but a fundamental ethical obligation for all societies and governments. Quote 11. I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. Your tireless and heroic sacrifices have made it possible for me to be here today. I therefore place the remaining years of my life in your hands. Mandela's humility and dedication to the people of South Africa were evident in this quote. Despite the immense global attention and accolades he received upon his release from prison, he never saw himself as a self-aggrandizing leader, but rather as a servant of the people. This quote emphasizes his deep gratitude to those who had fought for justice alongside him and his commitment to continuing to serve them as a leader. Quote 12. It is in your hands to create a better world for all who live in it. Mandela believed that individuals held the power to shape the world they lived in. This quote is a call to action, reminding us that each person has a role to play in making the world a better place. It encourages us to take responsibility for our actions and to work collectively towards a more just and equitable society. Quote 13. I had no epiphany, no singular revelation, no moment of truth, but a steady accumulation of 1,000 slights, 1,000 indignities, 1,000 unremembered moments, produced in me an anger, a rebelliousness, a desire to fight the system that imprisoned my people. This quote sheds light on the slow, gradual process of awakening to the injustices of apartheid that Mandela and many others experienced. It illustrates how systemic oppression and discrimination can fuel a long-term commitment to change. Mandela's journey from anger to activism serves as a testament to the power of perseverance in the face of injustice. Quote 14. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Mandela's life was marked by numerous setbacks and challenges. This quote underscores his resilience and determination to overcome adversity. It encourages us to view failure as an opportunity for growth and to keep moving forward, no matter how many times we stumble. Quote 15. I am not a saint, unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying. Mandela's humility is evident in this quote. He did not see himself as a flawless figure, but rather as someone who continually strived to do better. This perspective on saintliness reminds us that even great leaders are imperfect, and that progress comes from ongoing effort and learning from one's mistakes. Quote 16. Freedom is indivisible. The chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. The chains on all of my people were the chains on me. Mandela's understanding of freedom was deeply interconnected. He saw the oppression of any individual or group within his society as an affront to his own freedom. This quote highlights his solidarity with all South Africans and his belief in the interconnectedness of human rights. It underscores the idea that true freedom can only be achieved when everyone is free from oppression and discrimination. Quote 17. Courageous people do not fear forgiving for the sake of peace. Mandela's emphasis on forgiveness as a means to achieve peace and reconciliation is evident in this quote. He recognized that letting go of past grievances was essential for building a harmonious and just society. This quote encourages us to have the courage to forgive, not out of weakness, but out of a commitment to a more peaceful and equitable world. Quote 18. We can change the world and make it a better place. It is in your hands to make a difference. Mandela's belief in the agency of individuals and their capacity to effect change is reiterated in this quote. He encouraged people to take action and not be passive observers of the world's problems. It serves as a call to activism and social responsibility, reminding us that we have the power to shape the world for the better. Quote 19. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. This quote encapsulates Mandela's vision for South Africa and his unwavering commitment to democracy and equality. Throughout his life, he worked tirelessly to dismantle apartheid and establish a society where everyone, regardless of their race or background, could live in harmony and enjoy equal opportunities. Quote 20. It is not our diversity that divides us. It is our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences. Mandela's commitment to reconciliation and unity is reflected in this quote. He believed that diversity should be a source of strength rather than division. This quote encourages us to embrace and appreciate the differences among us, recognizing that it is our shared humanity that unites us. Quote 21. Real leaders must be ready to sacrifice all for the freedom of their people. Mandela's commitment to leadership and the liberation of his people is evident in this quote. He believed that true leaders were willing to make significant sacrifices for the greater good. This quote emphasizes the selflessness and dedication required to lead a movement for social change, reminding us that leadership is not about personal gain, but about serving the needs of the community. Quote 22. I dream of the realization of the unity of Africa, whereby its leaders combine in their efforts to solve the problems of this continent. Mandela's vision extended beyond the borders of South Africa to encompass the entire African continent. He understood the potential for African nations to come together and address shared challenges. This quote emphasizes the importance of Pan-African cooperation and solidarity in addressing issues such as poverty, conflict, and underdevelopment. Quote 23. Our human compassion binds us the one to the other, not in pity or patronizingly, but as human beings who have learned how to turn our common suffering into hope for the future. Mandela's time in prison provided him with a unique perspective on suffering and resilience. This quote highlights his belief in the transformative power of empathy and compassion. He saw suffering as a shared experience that could bring people together, fostering hope and a shared commitment to a better future. Quote 24. To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. This quote, which was mentioned earlier, deserves further exploration. It is a fundamental principle that underpinned Mandela's philosophy of freedom and justice. It reinforces the idea that true freedom is not self-serving, but is about creating a society where everyone's freedoms are respected and uplifted. This quote encapsulates the essence of Mandela's lifelong struggle against apartheid and his vision of a more just world. Quote 25. It is not enough to win a war. It is more important to organize the peace. After the end of apartheid, Mandela recognized the importance of the challenging work of building a just and inclusive society. This quote underscores his commitment to the difficult task of reconciliation and nation-building. It reminds us that achieving peace and justice requires sustained efforts beyond the resolution of conflicts. Quote 26. I was not a messiah, but an ordinary man who had become a leader because of extraordinary circumstances. Mandela remained humble throughout his life, despite his iconic status. This quote reflects his down-to-earth perspective on his role in history. He saw himself as an ordinary person who rose to leadership due to the extraordinary circumstances of his time. It serves as a reminder that leadership can emerge from unexpected places and that anyone can make a significant impact when the moment demands it. Quote 27. I can't pretend that I'm brave and that I can beat the whole world. Mandela's acknowledgement of his vulnerability and limitations as a human being is evident in this quote. He was not immune to fear or self-doubt. However, his willingness to face these feelings and carry on with his mission despite them is a testament to his extraordinary courage and determination. Quote 28. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. This quote, repeated here, reinforces the core principle of Mandela's philosophy. It emphasizes that genuine freedom goes beyond personal liberation and requires a commitment to the freedom and dignity of all individuals. It is a reminder that our actions should reflect this broader vision of freedom in order to create a just and equitable society. Quote 29. It is so easy to break down and destroy. The heroes are those who make peace and build. Mandela's commitment to peace and nation building is encapsulated in this quote. He understood that it takes far more effort and courage to build something positive than to tear it down. This quote encourages us to be heroes in our own lives by working towards reconciliation, cooperation, and constructive change. Quote 30. Our march to freedom is irreversible. We must not allow fear to stand in our way. In the face of daunting challenges, Mandela remained resolute in his belief in the inevitability of progress. This quote reminds us that the path to freedom and justice is one that should not be deterred by fear or setbacks. It encourages us to continue moving forward, even in the face of adversity, because the march towards a better world is unstoppable. In conclusion, Nelson Mandela's motivational quotes, including these final 10, continue to resonate and inspire people worldwide. His words reflect his profound wisdom, unyielding commitment to justice and equality, and belief in the transformative power of empathy, education, and collective action. As we reflect on these quotes, may we draw inspiration from Mandela's enduring legacy and strive to embody these principles in our own lives, working towards a more just and equitable world for all.